Hey y'all, we back with another video. So we're gonna get into how UConn just absolutely dominated South Carolina yesterday. When I say dominated, like they beat them by 29 points. 29 points is crazy. Especially this late in the season, like rankings are important. Um, yeah, like you wanna be closer to top four like coming up to March. Like it's so crazy. But yeah, just to give my I'm gonna give my opinion on it, how I feel about it, and then we're gonna actually like get into stats. So going into the game, I saw a lot of people thought that South Carolina was just gonna win. They didn't feel like UConn was a Final Four team. However, I was not sure who was gonna win. I felt like the game could go either way. But one thing that I did say in particular, that if UConn could consistently hit threes, they could definitely beat South Carolina. And I feel like that's one of the ways to beat South Carolina is just hitting threes, because South Carolina not really letting nothing go in the paint, honestly. However, so I felt like if they made threes, they could, win the game. But I specifically talked about Ashlyn Shade, because she is like the X factor. She is not one of the ones that, score every night or score every quarter. But in those tough games when Ashlyn Shade hits threes, honestly, UConn come up on top, because they need like an extra something from someone outside of Azzy Fudd, KK Arnold, Paige and Sarah Strong. So when I seen Ashlyn Shade's first 2 threes go in, I was like, yeah, it's going to be a good game. And then she ended up hitting another one. I don't think she really scored in the second half, but 3 threes in the first half was absolutely amazing. I felt like South Carolina's defense just wasn't there. And to me, I could arguably say that South Carolina is one of the best defensive teams in the nation right now. But for some reason, I feel like they did not play defense at all on UConn. And I don't know why. Like, I cannot figure that out. I really think that South Carolina scout focused too much on Paige, because if you think about it, Paige was the only one who didn't have any great looks. Someone was always guarding her. They switched off on her a lot. But I think they forgot about what the rest of the team could do, which is crazy. And then in South Carolina defense, their shots wasn't falling. They wasn't making smart offensive plays. They only had 7 assists the whole game, which is crazy. I know I said I was going to get into stats right now. But yeah, like they wasn't really moving the ball on offense. Malaysia for Wiley, she got in foul trouble early, and it's like your team needs you, so you have to stay out of foul trouble. And I think Malaysia's last few games, she was in foul trouble, which limited her minutes. You already know anybody that plays for South Carolina already have limited minutes, because Don have a great rotation where everybody's going to play, everybody's going to get minutes. So, you have to maximize your 15, 20 minutes that you are playing on South Carolina team. But Wiley was benched for a lot of the second quarter and a lot of the first quarter because she was in foul trouble. So, but I do feel like if Malaysia would have played more, the game could have been totally different, because for one, can't nobody guard Malaysia. Like she get a lot of fast break points. She's the momentum of the team, and honestly, she either going to the rim, she's gonna make the layup, or you're gonna foul her. There's no either or. It's rare that she misses a layup and don't get fouled. So yeah, that's my take on it. I do feel like South Carolina can bounce back. I don't feel like it's nothing like so dramatic. Ooh, they just lost the national championship. No, I do feel like they can bounce back. I do feel like their team is a lot different from last year. I do feel like Ashlyn Watkins being out and being that rim protector definitely hurt them, because yeah, you didn't see much action in the paint last night. I do feel like Joyce Edwards did her thing, but I feel like she didn't have no help. I feel like Chloe Kitts got to do better. She got to give us more. I feel like Fagan got to do more. She didn't do much yesterday. Raven Johnson. A lot of people like to talk about Raven, but honestly, I don't have a problem with Raven. I had a problem with Raven yesterday. And not saying, oh, I got a problem like it's beef. No. But I really don't have much to complain about when it comes to Raven because she barely turned the ball over. She's a great defensive stopper and she runs their offense. However, yesterday, Raven didn't do none of that. Raven didn't score. She didn't run the offense that well. She turned the ball over a few times. And her defense sucked yesterday, honestly. So, yeah. And I feel like Maddie McDaniel could have used a few more minutes. She's pretty explosive on the offensive end. Her defense can be a little rocky sometimes. But, yeah. And who else? Pow Pow. Pow Pow wasn't consistent yesterday, and she's entering the draft this year. So it's like you have to be consistent in some area. Okay, every night is not going to be a 20-point game offensively, and that's okay. But you have to give me some assists, or you got to give me something on the offensive end. I don't feel like Pow Pow did anything yesterday but 10 points. But anyway, that's neither here or there. Neither here nor there. So we're going to get in some stats, and we're going to see if we can figure out where South Carolina went wrong. Like, how did y'all lose by 29 points? We're going to get into that. Okay, so we're going to start off with field goal percentage. UConn shot 31 from 71 from the field, which is about 43.7% from the field. South Carolina shot 23 from 61 from the field, which is about 37.7% from the field. So UConn did shoot the ball more than South Carolina, but they also made more shots than South Carolina. South Carolina wasn't able to really alter their shots that much. I feel like South Carolina was just off defensively. I have never seen them so out of sort. And then Dawn Staley at the game press conference, she talked about how something else had to be going on other than basketball. And truly, that makes me wonder, like, what's going on? Y'all was off offensively and off defensively. I have never seen South Carolina off defensively, I'm sorry. Because a lot of times South Carolina shots don't fall, but you got 4 other people on the floor who can, help you out with that. But defensively, that was completely out of whack. Did not understand. So, 3-pointers. UConn shot 28 3-pointers, but they made 13. 13 3-pointers. That means, South Carolina, you gave up 13 shots on the 3-point line. And I feel like it was a mixture of players. Like, yeah, Azzy Flood, she shot about 6 3-pointers, but you had Sarah Strong, Paige, Ashlyn Shade. Like, everybody was shooting 3-pointers, so it just wasn't one person. And then you have South Carolina. They shot 17 3-pointers, and they only made 3. If your threes aren't falling, you have to do something else. Like, give me something else. There was hardly any dribble penetration. It's almost like they were scared, but I'm not sure why. Because, honestly, in my opinion, UConn don't really have dominant bigs. They have Sarah Strong, but Sarah Strong, like, she likes to scratch the floor. She's not just chilling in the paint. So, I don't know. 3 3-pointers out of 17 is crazy. UConn shot 46.4% from the 3-point line. That's crazy. It's only crazy because South Carolina shot 17.6 from the 3-point line. Yeah, I don't know. Free throws. UConn 12 from 13. South Carolina 9 from 11. They only missed 2 free throws, but you gotta make those, especially when you're down a lot. Free throws help. I do feel like the refs called the game pretty fair. UConn only went to the free throw line 13 times, 13 attempts, and South Carolina 11. So pretty fair there. Rebounds. Rebounds is what killed them. This is where you need your Ashlyn Watkins, you need your Sanaya Fagan, you need your Chloe Kidds, you need your Joyce Edwards to play defense. Get some rebounds. UConn had 48 rebounds. South Carolina had 29 rebounds. That's like almost a 20 rebound difference. I felt like that's probably what cost them the game, honestly. Because UConn was capitalizing off their rebounds. They had 15 offensive rebounds. South Carolina only had 6 offensive rebounds. So you have to get rebounds. Rebounds. Rebounds win games. If y'all never take anything for Angel Reese, remember Angel Reese says rebounds wins games. Rebounds win championships. And that's so true. That is so true. Then assists. UConn, 22 assists, South Carolina 7. UConn was sharing the ball. They was passing the ball. They was making their shots. South Carolina 7 assists is just not South Carolina basketball. I'm really curious to know what the disconnect was. Blocks, UConn 1 block, South Carolina 2 blocks. Steals, UConn had 6 steals. South Carolina only 1 steal. That's not like them. They're usually getting 2, 3, 4 steals a game. So I don't know. Turnovers, UConn had 10, South Carolina had 12. That's not really a huge difference, but it made a difference. And one of UConn's steals was from Sarah Strong, from Raven Johnson. I feel like Raven Johnson usually take care of the ball pretty well. Yesterday, I do not know what was going on. Okay, y'all, so we're gonna talk about Paige because everybody is like, oh, Paige draft stock is going down. Paige, they're just box score watching because Paige had 12 points. Paige also had 10 assists and 7 rebounds. That's almost a triple-double. This is her first game with points and assists, double-double. I felt like Paige ran their offense pretty well. I felt like Paige played a huge part in this win. She found the open players. She knew who was going to knock down shots. She knew when to pass the ball. Paige did have a few turnovers now, but I'm not mad at them. I feel like they were very petty turnovers, but good thing they were up 30 and she was able to afford those turnovers. But I feel like Paige played extremely well. She played defense. She wasn't in foul trouble. She got the ball across half court. She just did so much for the game yesterday, and people aren't talking about it enough. They're only talking about how many points Paige scored. But again, y'all remember earlier in the video, I said South Carolina only focused on, like, their scout was strictly Paige, and it shows because Paige wasn't scoring. She missed quite a few shots because somebody was always on her. Somebody was always doubling her. Like, anytime she drive in, everybody shift to the paint. Paige was able to kick the ball out to the three-point line. Somebody knocked down a 3. So, yeah, kudos to Paige. Good game for her, finding her open teammates. I like Paige's game because she know when to take over a game and she know when not to. Yeah, they have lost a couple of games, but she's not a ball hog. She could have easily took it to the rim every time, got a foul. But no, she found her open teammates and she shared the ball. So kudos to Paige. Now, we're going to get into Sarah Strong's performance yesterday. When I say a phenomenal player, she's in conversations for a National Player of the Year. And honestly, I feel like she deserved it. She do way more than just scoring. She do a lot. And yeah, Sarah Strong. Yeah, so she finished the game yesterday with 16 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. And that was just so good as a freshman. To say that you're almost pro ready is crazy. She's stretching the floor. She bringing the ball down in transition. She brought the ball down yesterday a few times. Sarah Strong is just she's just this phenomenal player. And it's so crazy because her mom is from South Carolina. Her mom played in the WNBA with Dawn Staley, and Dawn Staley still do, and she talks about this, she still says she do not know how they did not recruit Sarah Strong. And honestly, I feel like a lot of people opt out from going to South Carolina because they want to go somewhere where they're going to be a star or they want to get more playing time. And in South Carolina, it's not like that. You know, you have to share minutes. Nobody is really getting over 30 minutes. On a good day, everybody getting roughly 20, 25 minutes. So, yeah, I think that may be one of the reasons. I really don't know. But I feel like she's doing pretty well at UConn. UConn is treating her well. I'm not mad at her going to UConn, but I would have loved to see her in South Carolina as well. So kudos to Sarah Strong. Let me know down in the comments, who do y'all think who do y'all think winning National Freshman of the Year? There's so many people, that's in the conversations for it. Even Joyce Edwards is in the conversations for it. Well, she should be if she isn't. But I like Joyce Edwards because she's hard to guard. She's gonna do a lot for her team. Just like yesterday, she put up a lot of points for South Carolina, and no one else wasn't really doing anything. But I think the only difference is Joyce Edwards. Like, she get lost on defense. I think that would be her only downfall, and she don't stretch the floor that much, but she's lethal in transition. So yeah, kudos to the freshman, man. Okay, I know we talked about Azzy for a little bit, but yeah, I feel like she was a turning point for South Carolina yesterday. 28 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. She was 11 from 20 from the floor, so she was shooting over 50% from the field yesterday, which is amazing. She made 6 three-pointers yesterday. She shot 6 from 10 from the 3-point line. And it's like the ball don't touch her hands. She has such a quick release. It's so crazy. I'm glad to see her back. I know she's been dealing with injury for a while. I think she's entering the draft this year. I think she's gonna go late first round. I hope she do. But yeah, I think Azzy was definitely a determining factor for UConn yesterday. It was so important for her to be on point and to be able to knock down those shots. And she was even playing defense. She did get in a little foul trouble towards the end, but she was able to, do her job and do what needed to be done. Offensively. So kudos to Azzy, and it was much needed. Okay, so we're gonna break down South Carolina stats as a team, and then we're just gonna wrap this up. I feel like none of South Carolina players gave us they didn't give us enough for the minutes that they played, which is highly unlikely. Raven Johnson, 24 minutes, 0 points, and 3 assists. You're the point guard. You got to have more than 3 assists. Pow, 29 minutes, 10 points, 2 assists. You have to give us more than that. You're a point guard as well. And 10 points is crazy. You're playing 29 minutes. Not saying it's all about scoring, but when no one else is scoring, Pow, you have to be the one to step up. Pow is entering the draft this year. It's like she didn't play. Pow played no defense yesterday, like none whatsoever. So if you're not playing defense, if you're not sharing the ball, getting no assists, you have to score. And you wasn't doing that yesterday. Pow has always been one of those players who, yeah, she'll get a few points and then she'll disappear. I felt like she was doing better this year. But yesterday, like Don Staley said, it was more than basketball. It was more going on. They just need to be able to fix that as a team. Tessa Johnson, she played 19 minutes, but you had 0 points. You did have 3 rebounds, which was cool. I'm not sure what's been going on with Tessa. I feel like she's been in like a little slump the past few games, and that's okay. That's okay because Tessa, she shows up in big moments. I'm so surprised she did not show up yesterday. But my thing is, everybody cannot be in a slump at the same time. Somebody have to do something. And yesterday, nobody did anything but Joyce. She had 29 minutes, 17 points, and 5 rebounds. But she had 0 assists. Joyce, when you're getting clouded in the paint, you got to learn how to pass the ball out, pass to the 3-point line. And what you're doing right now is not such a big deal because, for one, you're a freshman. And usually you're making your shots where you're getting fouled. But I think South Carolina needs a little more from Joyce defensively. Like the time she was guarding Sarah Strong, you should have been all up on her. Ain't no way Sarah Strong should be shooting threes and you're guarding her. You got to go out. You got to contest those threes. You contested them, but you got there a little late. Fagan, she only played 13 minutes and she only had 4 points. She's their dominant big, their dominant center. She have to be able to give South Carolina more. I know she was struggling with the eye injury at the beginning of the game, but I'm not making up an excuse. I'm not saying that's an excuse. You have to be able to do more for your team. Chloe Kitts, 21 points. 21 minutes and 6 points. If you compare the minutes to the stats, there's no reason why certain people should be starting over certain people on South Carolina's team. Like, I don't know if Dawn is gonna have these uncomfortable conversations with her teammates. I don't know how she chooses her starting five. Most teams you can look at and say, oh, this is why they're starting. You know, they deserve to start. I would definitely put Joyce Edwards in the starting lineup over Chloe Kitts. Malaysia Fulwali would be starting. I would even have Tessa Johnson starting. Tessa Johnson isn't as consistent as of lately. She may be in a little sophomore slump. I don't know. But Bree Hall isn't really giving you anything. She played 29 minutes yesterday. She did have 5 rebounds and 7 points. I can live with that. I like the 5 rebounds, but I feel like she can do more offensively. 7 points, you're a starter. Then you have someone coming off the bench outscoring you, giving more energy off the bench than you. So yeah, Maddie McDaniel, she played 14 minutes and she had 3 points. She's okay. She started off the season really, really good, and then she was on, I don't know if she had a concussion or was on concussion watch or something. But yeah, Maddie McDaniel, she can give us more minutes. She can definitely do that. Yeah, Sanaya, Walker, Tack. It's like, y'all bigs, y'all gotta come in, y'all gotta do something. But overall, that was a great game, great for women's sports. Oh yeah, UConn broke South Carolina's 71 home game streak win. That's crazy. They haven't lost a game at home in years. I feel like that game was definitely personal for UConn and Gino. That was crazy. Even if South Carolina lost, I didn't expect it to be by 29 points. Like, that's unbelievable. That's crazy. But as I said earlier, they can bounce back for sure. So we're just gonna see where things take us. Top 25 AP poll. We could just run through the top 10. Notre Dame at 1. I feel like that's fair. Texas at 2. I mean, honestly, Texas earned it. They just beat South Carolina and they beat LSU in the same week, almost the same week. I don't know how. But kudos to Texas. UCLA, you know, they were at the top of the nation. They was running things. They were number 1, the number 1 team in the country. They just lost to USC. Juju had a massive game, 38 points, 11 rebounds, 8 blocks, and they won the game against UCLA. USC beat UCLA, and UCLA dropped to number 3. So that moved USC up to number 4. They was at 6. So yeah, UConn, they just beat South Carolina. That moved them up 2 points. They're number 5. They was number 7. You got South Carolina. They just dropped 2 because they lost to UConn. They also lost to Texas. So that just dropped them. They were number 4. Now they dropped to number 6. And then LSU, they just lost to Texas. So they just dropped to 7. They were number 5. And then you got Ohio State at 8, North Carolina at 9, and TCU at 10. So yeah. But let me know, who do y'all think is going to win it all this year? Do y'all have Notre Dame? They're the number 1 team in the country right now. I do feel like, it's crazy, I feel like Notre Dame got a fair chance. I feel like USC got a fair chance. I feel like UConn got a fair chance. But I'm an SEC girly, and if LSU don't win it all, South Carolina got to win it all. So We need to keep the championship in the ACC. Whoever win in the ACC, I'm gonna be proud of them. But yeah, let me know who y'all think is gonna win it all, and do y'all think this is the final top 10 for the rest of the season? Because honestly, I know UCLA and USC play each other again the first weekend in March, but I think everybody else may be done with like top 10 teams. I don't know. I'm gonna double check that, and we'll talk about it again next week. But comment down below and let me know what y'all think. Oh yeah, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe.